Alright, so let's just go ahead and jump right into it. The coldest winter ever was ghostwritten. I am convinced. There's no way. There's no way that Sister Soldier wrote the coldest winter ever. If she wrote the coldest winter ever, she did not write the midnight books that followed. No, there's no way. The person who wrote these books, they're not the same person. And I want to be very clear. I am stoned. Any and everything that I record will be with me under the influence. Under the influence because honestly, I just, life is way too crazy for me to remember any lies or airs that I may try to put on. So, raw unnecessary honesty is what you get from me. I'm just the reason that I say this, and I consider myself an avid reader. I consider myself incredibly well read. Even if I'm not incredibly well read by the standards of someone who is in fact actually well read, and that's not to say that I am not actually well read. I certainly exceed the average person, I think, when it comes to reading. So here's what's interesting. I am a woman I am not too far from 50. In fact, 50 is standing right there fucking waving at me. And I just don't know if it's that I smoke so much marijuana that I just can't remember accurately, but I want to say the very first time that I read Sister Soldier's The Coldest Winter Ever, I left with the impression wow, Winter was this bad bitch, right? She was street savvy and street smart, and she came from a boss ass family, right? That's just running shit. Not so much the same picture painted in my older years. My God, Winter is incredibly unfucking likable. She's so disgusting. I read the book and I'm just like, how did I miss this? where she's just totally unlikable. She's such a know-it-all, right? And Midnight, right, is genuinely fucking uninterested in her. he's just boo. He's just not that into you, right? But I don't know if it was just being caught up in the hype and the fanfare of its general release, right? Because everyone was reading it. And I don't know if I read things so quickly that it could have been that I was just and I did. I flew through those pages. She's totally unlikable. And it is crazy because absolutely everyone in that book, everyone is smarter than she is. From her friends, from Nat, from Simone, they're all smarter than she is. Santiago, he dropped so much game, so much knowledge. And even her mom, you're just kind of not the greatest picture is painted of her either. And then you kind of realize that Winter is basically following in her mother's footsteps, which is kind of sad because it's just that. I don't know. But I do remember being totally enamored by Midnight's character. I was just but in general, I just have a thing for assholes. And he was just very direct. He was very clear about not being interested. He would point out certain things that she just didn't understand. He'd be like, wow, like, your mom just got shot in the face and you are worried about what the fuck you're wearing. And she was just like, I don't know what that means. And it's just like, oh my God, you dumb bitch. Like, but just like, she's totally fucking unlikable, right? But the reason that I say that the same person did not write The Coldest Winter Ever and the Midnight series is because I don't. And you know what? I'll go ahead and I'll say this. If I'm giving somebody the benefit of the doubt, she had to have been under the influence when writing one of these things. I'm going to say it was the latter. I don't know what direction she attempted to take in the Midnight series. Like, at first I was like, okay. Like, she painted him, I don't want to say like soft, because that's just not the word that I'm looking for. As kind of, like, kind of docile in a way, maybe. I don't know. And then, like, he started to kind of, like, I don't know. I don't want to say too much on it, really, because, like, I leave with so many mixed emotions when you read Midnight, you know? I just wasn't feeling it. I'm just like, what direction were you going in? Like, if your attempt, if your desire, if your goal was to try to reach Black women, African American women, and I don't mean to speak, you know, for all of them, because everyone identifies differently, right? Why would you veer off and have him not interested in Black women and African American women? I like, who, Soldier, do you think is buying that book? Like, Ling is not buying that book. Like, she's just not. I was gonna say Rashida, but that's, you know, the pretty girl in the hijab is not buying your fucking book. I'm just keeping it real. So what the fuck direction were you going in? I mean, I just thought it was just, I don't know, it was really distasteful. It was really, because it was just so out of the ordinary, you know? Like, you initially have this Black hero in The Coldest Winter Ever, because, I mean, he kind of is, like, a hero. Like, he's this dark-skinned, tall soldier who is super mysterious and about his money and has a conscience very clearly, you know, through the correspondence that he shares with the sister soldier portrayed in the book. Like, you know, like, he's like, you know, you're right, what I'm doing is wrong, I need to get out of that life. And it sounds like he gets out of that life. So you have, like, this Black hero. It very quickly goes left. I don't fucking understand. And here is the thing. It's not at all. And I feel like I have to say this because, you know, there's always the dodo who you know, is ignored in their private life, and so they have to be really, really loud and obnoxious in their online life. There's no problem with an African American male, Black male, dating outside of his race. I would give a personal example, but, you know, the last thing I'm going to do is sound like one of those, blatantly racist white people who say, my best friends are Black. Because you're like, really? So I'm gonna hold off on, like, the personal examples. But, yeah, I mean, you know, I don't give a shit who black men, black males are dating. I really don't. But part of me would have felt better if she had even been African, because, like there's tension, right? I think that if she were attempting to create tension by making his love interest so far white, excuse me, so far right, she could have also done that with an African, because there's tension there too. When cultures don't fully understand each other, no matter the cultures, there's going to be some level of tension. Some tension, of course, thicker than others, but I felt like, had she made his love interest an African woman, she could have been Sudanese. I believe that Midnight was actually from Sudan, she could have been from South Africa. I mean, from fucking anywhere in Africa. And I feel like her message would have been much, much stronger, if I'm just being honest. And again, I am stoned. And I am a stoner. And I've been smoking, let's just say I've been smoking more years than I've not been smoking. But I'm still a consumer. I am still, I still have the ability to paint a picture. I can still read a book, and Winter's totally fucking unlikable. And I'm like, okay, so like what she's trying to paint in the first book is like, hey, this fast hood life, this is the only place, these are the places that'll get you in the ground, right? Or in jail. And I felt that. I'm like, yeah. So don't be a gutter snipe, What the fuck? What happened in Midnight? What happened in that? And I don't even know if that's the actual, because like, again, I'm stoned. And I don't see it on my bookshelf. I think I boxed it up. Like, I didn't even want to fucking look at the cover. I'm just like, the fuck? In fact, I have 2 copies actually of The Coldest Winter Ever sitting on my shelf, and I don't see the Midnight book. I probably placed it in storage. My mom's gonna be so pissed, because like she's like anti putting books in storage. She's like, oh my god, the moisture. Anyway, what the fuck? I was like, okay, so like he meets the little cutie, right? Who, I can't remember her name. She like invites him to her room, and he's like, oh, she's cute, but what? But what? I just, Soldier, you didn't write one of those. Which one did you not write? Which one did you not write? And there's nothing wrong, again, with Midnight having, no, scratch that. There's nothing wrong with a black male, an African American character, dating outside of his race, or even a black male, African American person. I don't want to just say character, even though most of them are in fact characters. Nothing wrong with that. I just feel like he was such a strong character. Why did you have to give him? It was just embarrassing. It not even embarrassing, because I mean, again, Ling is not buying your book, and the pretty girl in the hijab is not buying your fucking book. I mean, yeah, 4 or 5 of them will probably like check it out of the library, but they're not like, they're not like really, I would assume they're not as large a portion of your supportive community, but I could be wrong. I could totally be wrong. Like, do you know how many rappers perform at sold out predominantly white shows? So I could totally be wrong. It would shock the fuck out of me, right? If the pretty girl in the hijab and Ling were out there buying your fucking books and made up a bigger demographic of your original fan base, because I think really you lost a lot of people. For sure, I was confused, and so I moved on to the next, and I was just like, I don't think I made it past like chapter 5, because I was like, I can't relate to this. Not only can I not relate to it, I'm just not really interested. And there's a book that Eric Jerome Dickey put out a while back when I was young, or younger rather. Milk in My Coffee. I didn't read that book either, but that book got like pretty good reviews. The Midnight series, from the people that I've discussed it with, and I'll be very honest, I don't remember the reviews online. They could be much, much better than I'm giving them credit for. But where were you going, soldier? Where, you were running. And then I lost you. And I started reading the one about Portia, however you pronounce her name. I think I would have pronounced it Portia, but the person who I am listening to read it, they pronounce it Porsche. It's a little irksome, but it's still actually decent so far. I mean, it's interesting that a 10-year-old could be so mature, but she's more likable so far, in my opinion, than Winter. Like, is it just me? Did no one else realize exactly how unlikable Winter is? Like, yeah, she's got her moments where she's funny, right? And then she's got her moments where she's relatable. Like, we've all been young as hell, like, trying to, like, sneak a drink in our room. And one parent is always, like, low-key cooler than the other. So, like, but I was just confused. Like, I feel like had she just, like, left it at one, she could have, like, mulliganed it, right? I won't even front. Like, I don't even know what the fuck that word means. I just know that when people screw up, they say, mulligans. But, like, she went on to, how many Midnight books were there? 2? 3? And I think that, like, she doesn't owe anybody anything, so that's unfair. But it would be nice if she would surprise us with, like, a do-over. Like, hey, you guys, you caught on to me. I had so much going on. I was trying to save lives over in Africa. And so, oh my God, yep, I paid someone, you guys. I paid someone to follow up The Coldest Winter Ever. And if it wasn't already a dead giveaway, she is Japanese. Yes, she is Japanese. And I don't know where she was going either. I'll be honest. Like, I think that Sister Soldier should just, like, spend the next couple years giving us a do-over of the Midnight story. Because I don't know, I wasn't feeling it. I just wasn't feeling it. But yeah, one of these things is not like the other. Which one, Soja? Which one?